Right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury everything overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
What can be done to make the society better? You know, as a woman here, you know, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
Hello and welcome to the maiden edition of the program Corruption and Society. On this program, we have a whole lot of issues to deliberate on the effect of corruption on the general public. Nigeria as a country is endowed with an abundance of human and natural resources, but these resources are hardly harnessed for the good of the general public. It's on this note we will bring guests to discuss issues of corruption and how they are affecting the public. Also, we'll go on the streets to sample the opinion of members of the public. We also have a mini docu in which we'll take specific cases of corruption and have them televised for your viewing pleasure. My name is Jack Vincent Fidelis and I'm your anchorman. We'll have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the rest of the program.
Nigeria, a country endowed with a plethora of human and natural resources, from the fringes of the Sahara to the shores of the Atlantic. What reason has Nigeria to be plagued by socio-economic problems when it has all it takes to be great? Why should the financial stance of the country and its economic indices be unfavorable? Only a purposeful, committed, and goal-oriented leadership can affect the dynamics necessary for the desired change. Only citizens with a penchant for due process can keep the leadership on its toes to sustain the gains of anti-corruption and accountability in governance. Political leaders must have impeccable credibility and be accountable to the masses, shun embezzlement and all forms of corruption in order to make provisions for a viable economy, dependable education and healthcare systems, and all necessary amenities needed for citizens to have a better life. This message was brought to you courtesy of the MacArthur Foundation and Center for Information Technology and Development, CTAD.
You are welcome back. On our very first segment, we had a discussion with Mrs. Adama Balla. She is the Executive Director, Zadaya Kanem Polio and Disability Initiative. We had the discussion on the topic, challenges of people living with disability in society. Have a great listening.
You are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
To set the ball rolling quickly, what are the challenges people living with disability face in society?
There are a lot of challenges faced by persons living with disabilities. And to mention a few, we have livelihood, we have education, we have health, we have economical, and the first thing is just we have a lot of barriers. Yes, we have a lot of barriers coming to accessibility and communication, policy barriers, all sorts of things are just too much on persons with disabilities. So before a person can attain his goal, he has to be determined, has to persistence, and that will bring about the society and the family. So far so good, almost 95% of persons with disability are living below the poverty level.
And there are reasons for this, I'm very sure.
There are reasons for this.
What are these reasons?
The reasons starts from the family unit, coming to the community, then to the government. Yes, there are, at the family unit, there are some most families, when they have a child with disability, they tend to look at maybe begging or keeping him at home, not supporting him to do something. You know, when disability happens, there needs to be integration and reintegration of that person.
With everybody else in society.
Rehabilitation and integrating the person to come and cope with the society. Despite the fact that in society is not favorable for persons with disabilities, but still at the family unit there are some things that you do to make that person more adaptable. So that child cannot have it at the home, and the society too is not encouraging.
Yes, talking about society, I would like you to let us know whether people living with disability are gainfully employed by governments and the private sector.
No, they are not gainfully employed in the sense that, because there was a policy way back that said about 10% of employment quota is for the person with disability. But most of the persons with disability do not qualify because they've not reached that qualification. Maybe
educational qualification.
Yes, educational qualification. Maybe they should have their BSc or BA or something like, or even diploma, or maybe they will trade test. No, so because they don't attain that level, they cannot be gainfully employed.
I understand that.
Yes.
But I'm sure there are some people who must have attained this same level, who must have been educated. I know quite a few who are deaf, blind, and so on, but they've been able to go to as far as university, first and second degree, and all that. So this class of people, are any of them employed in our society?
Some of them few.
Very few. Oh, I see. Now, I would like you to tell us if people living with disability have pressure group, and what are the demands you are making of government and society?
There are some, we can't really call them pressure group.
Okay.
They are more of association. They normally come together trying to get pass our bill, disability bill, to have a commission, to have some kind of livelihood support, something like that. But they have not really have a pressure group per se, because before you can have a pressure group, you need to have a lot of tactics and how to approach the government so that it will be kind of cordial. So at times they may decide to attack it just like that without knowing the ins and outs of the pressure. You bring your issues and you pressurize with so much cordiality and understanding. So when they start it, they end up,
I get that. Now, from everything you said, I would like you to tell us what the response of government has been so far concerning people living with disability.
The government so far has the government is trying its best, actually.
In what sense?
In the sense that at present, let me talk of where I am, as in Borno.
Good.
At present, there are some persons, not all, some persons with disability receive 15,000 naira stable.
Monthly?
Every month, yes.
Okay.
But they're doing batch by batch, as in 6 months, after 6 months.
Who is doing this? Federal or state government?
State government.
Oh, great.
State government.
Okay.
6 months, they will change to another batch. Yes, and some of them that are able to, that are not severely disabled, were given job at the COSEPA, and they are receiving some money monthly as such. So,
all this thing boils down to empowerment.
yes.
What the people living with disability need is empowerment. So that when they are empowered, they can now fend for themselves,
Yes.
and even help their members of their family. So that's what it's about. Now, on a last note, I want you to tell our viewer what you expect of government and what are the things you want to be done for people living with disability.
Well, what I expect from government, I want a complete makeover for the disability society. Like having a commission is one, but not having a commission, but to truly touch the lives of persons with disability going to the grassroots, because there are some people that are severely disabled. When I say severely disabled, that you don't even know where they are. They cannot even fend for themselves. And there are some that you need to really, really support them to reach their potentials. So even if it is taking about 50 or 100 at a time to empower them, educate them, or train them in an occupation, if they can, then settle them down. But that thing should be continuously. 10, 100, maybe in the period of 2 years or so, you can reduce the menace. Because at the present, they are just I don't know. They are not even living from hand to mouth. They are struggling.
Thank you very much. And that is the much we can take on this segment of the program. It is good having you. We look forward to having you again. And Adama Balla, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I hope when we give you opportunity to be here next time, you will oblige us.
I will willingly come.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you, viewer. So long.
You're welcome back. And I hope you had a great time listening to the discussion we had with Mrs. Adama Balla, the Executive Director of the Zaidaya Kane Polio and Disabilities Initiative. We would also like to get your own contribution to this very topic. You can see the numbers on your screen. Send your SMS, no calls, to the number on your screen, giving us your contributions and suggestions on the topic. Challenges of people living with disability in society. And now our next segment will be Vox Pop. We go out to the streets to sample opinion of everyday Nigerians on this pressing issue of the challenges of people living with disabilities in our society. Have a great viewing.
I said no, we don't have it. One, anything based on athletes issue, without facility, you cannot groom an athlete. So that is why we don't have athlete right. But we have special sports in Maiduguri.
Kayan aikin su dama bol ne, bola kam enough suna da shi. Sai kuma abubuwan su da suna using da shi suna kamar gudu. Misali mai kafa yana gudu. Su kuma akwai abun da kamar kujera ne suna awakai suna gudun su akai. Wannan kuma ba gwamnati bane ta siya musu. Har ga Allah su ne suke zuwa da kayan su. Nasu ne suna zuwa suna training.
States, they've been taken care of. Okay. But for our place in our society here, we've not been motivated. I would have preferred to plead to the state government to at least motivate these ones that are coming, because we have plenty disability here. So the motivation is needed. And we know how the motivation now goes. If you don't groom them up, you cannot motivate them. If the facility is not provided, they will not be convinced. You cannot go to a place where you don't tell someone how to use something. But when you see it, when you guide him, say, let me try. But in an environment where you just go, you see empty place. What do you expect? These people, they are not serious. They just want to come and use us for nothing. But if they taking care of the way other nations are taking care of it, the disability they will make you proud.
Shawaran da zan ba gwamnati akan wannan shine in dai suna guri daya gwamnati aje su kamar a guri daya to zai iya mutu kamar irin azin a ce gwamnati ta aje su a wani estate daya irin a ce wannan estate na guragu ne wannan estate na makabai sai a mutu kamar irin supermarket ko me suke so akwai a gurin in suna so abu ne ga shi nan gwamnati ga shi nan ga a estate nasu ga plaza su duk abu da suke so za su iya samu amma yanzu ko mashin ne ma haka ba kowa bane ne so ya zo gura suna shan wahala daga gida su ce kasuwa su sai abu daga kasuwa gida stress yana musu yawa suna shan wahala har ga Allah ni dai a tsawon musu guri wanda ce wannan gashi nan wannan guri ne don gura ku estate nasu wannan ma ce estate ne na makarai abin da ke musu sauki ko kuma gwamnati ne ma musu duk wani gurgu a nema mushi ko duk wani makafu a nema mushi yaro ne wanda zai na taimaka ma shi gurgu ko makafu saboda ya daina shan wahala in aike ne ma yaron zai je aikin ya dawo.
Our next segment will be a mini documentary on the life and challenges of people living with disability in society. Stay tuned and have a great time viewing our next segment.
In normative climes where things are properly done, citizens' rights and privileges are upheld and all members of the public are accorded dignity and the respect that they deserve. Good reason special spaces are reserved for people living with different forms of disability. At airports, hospitals, stadiums, shopping malls, car parks, marketplaces, schools, and other public and commercial spaces, the interests of people with special needs ought to be considered. This is because our society is devoid of these privileges and benefits for the deaf, blind, crippled, dumb, and other people with special needs in general. It's important to note that people living with different forms of disability are not subhuman. Like everybody else, they deserve to be treated with respect, and they deserve to enjoy all public facilities without discrimination. Public facilities like restrooms, staircases, signposts, escalators, and many more in our society seem to be designed specifically for able-bodied people. People with special needs are seldom considered where these facilities are provided. It's as if they do not exist.
You're welcome back. I'm afraid that is the much we have for you this week on the program. If you've had a great time watching us, perhaps you can keep it there with us again, same time, next week, when we hope to come with more interesting topics for discussion. So long, everybody.